Hello, everyone. Thank you for being with me today. Today, I have a verse in mind that I want to journal, and there's actually a couple of ways I thought of doing this one. The first one, I have an example that I did. My verse that I picked was Jeremiah 29, verse 11. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall you call upon me, and you shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you, and you shall seek me and find me when you shall search for me with all your heart. So as I was thinking about this verse, I got the idea to make a color swatch, because designers will use color swatches. And so I saw somebody do this in a video, and I'll have to look that up and put it in the description box. But what they did was they just picked any paper from their set that they like the colors of, and then they used watercolor. And so I used watercolor because I have it. Now you could also do this with any other medium that you prefer. I just picked watercolor because I had it handy, and I thought, why not? So then I used the watercolor paper to make the swatch. Then I took the paper, it was very thin, so I gave it a backing and I inked it. And then I added some paper to write my own notes. Totally optional, of course. God has plans for me. He not only created me, but he also designed my future. So then I had a number here, but then when I thought to do the verse, I put the reference number, Jeremiah 29:11. I thought that would be better for my purposes here. And then I added another piece of writing paper in the back, just in case. I probably won't add the writing paper to the one that I'm giving away. This one was just more for me. So let's get started. You'll need or want, if you want to do exactly what I did, I had a brad, and they're small, and I put it, in the back. I added the brad to the paper, and then I put the sticker on, not a sticker, it's a label. It says just thinking of you, and I just backed it on some book page and gave it a cardstock border. And I thought that was appropriate because, again, he has plans for us, so we're on his mind. He has thoughts that he thinks towards us. So I thought I would like to do one with you. If you want to hang out, that would be great. So whatever medium you're using, you'll need some paper. I have my background. I also thought of doing it this way, where I printed out the verse and then just put that into the background. And then I picked a paper that I had from the set I was working with, and I decided to do a very neutral palette today because, don't want to be here too long. So what I did was I decided on mostly a white gray. So I will just quickly do that. White probably won't show up. It'll look gray. Oh well, that works. So then I just drew basically a circle. And again, you could do this with pencil crayons. I've seen some that blend very well. And you can pick whatever you like. You can probably do acrylics if you have them. I don't know how well they mix, but depends on what palette you choose for yours. And I should have done one ahead of time so that it could dry. one's not very dark. So how are you guys doing today? It's my son's first day back to school, so trying to get this video done before my attention is needed elsewhere. It felt like a long summer, but now it feels like, where did it go? I suppose it's always that way. So I want to add some gold because I had the gold accents. And again, you can choose whatever color palette you like. I ended up mixing up two golds because neither of the ones I had seemed quite right, so that's how it goes. Now with watercolor, they will dry a little darker anyway, so it's all right. Okay, so the other thing I thought of was if you wanted to put the verse on here, on your big piece of paper, write it out or type it out, print it out, however you want to do that. I was thinking you could probably even do the whole thing on watercolor paper, but then that would kind of eliminate the need for the swatch, unless you did like a background with those, like a bigger swatch on the actual watercolor paper. A lot of different things you could do. Like this one here, I didn't give the swatch, the sample paper, I didn't give that a backing, but what I did do was I put a number up there and I put a tab on it, and then I used some book page to give it just a little more interest. And so that was one. For this one, I printed out the verse and then cut it into pieces to use that as a background, and just to give it all a uniform look. So then once that dries, I will put that in here. Now for the tab, I just took I just matched this color here. Am I in frame? Yes, good. So I took this color and then I took my 1-hole punch, and then I took some book page or scrap piece of paper, whatever you have, and if you wanted to write the reference on there, you could do that. Since I'm making another one, I will write that on here. What I want to do is, like for this page here, and it doesn't matter now that it's swiveled. My original idea was to tack down the backing to the page and then just let everything else swivel. So then my thought was to have the tab sticking out off the page there. So you can do that too. And I'm thankful for abbreviations because there's not a lot of room here. That's why I just mentioned the first verse of the set there. And then I do like to ink, so I'll ink this a little bit so it covers up the imperfections. I like that. Covers up your not so great cutting. Alright, Alright, so then I will also do the verse. I had to cut it a little different because I wanted the paper to be a certain size. So I didn't do the greatest job of centering my printout there. And I had to divide it onto two. I could have done a smaller font, but I had this idea that I wanted to be able to read what it said without getting my glasses. So you do what you can, and however it works out for you, that is what matters. It makes, as long as it works for you and how you like to study or see the word, remind yourself. In the Old Testament, it says to put the word or his law on the door frames, on the doorposts. So I figured this will be nice for those of us who like to look at our journal books. Remind us of his word. Alright, so then a little bit of glue. Doesn't have to be this kind. It's kind of messy actually. Today it is. So I'll just smear that on there. The purple stuff I found is great right up until it dries, and then if it's not already stuck on your... Oh, that's right, I forgot. When I went and did the hole punch, I actually used a bigger one. I used a 1.5 inch. Okay, so my 1.5 inch because okay, then I could have used the whole circle. Anyways, so what happens is I'm going to trim this one down. I give it, I wanted the border, that's why I gave it that. It's getting messy. So what I did then, or will do, is probably just cut that off like so. And then what I did was I rounded, or tried to, so that the borders would look a little more uniform, and that may have not worked. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Oh, His grace. Alright, so then I'm going to ink this a little bit. And then I'm going to put it to the side of the backing. And again, you don't have to use this specific paper. You just use whatever you want to use. So I'm going to just leave a little bit sticking out. There we go, something like that. And then to put the, let's just dry it. No, but I need it. So I'm gonna put this together. Here's my swatch. sample paper. So what I'm going to do is put all these together in the corner, and then I'm going to take my awl. I could use a hole punch, but I don't have a tiny one, so just be careful. Okay, so that's that part, and then I want that about 1/2 inch in all directions there. And then I'm just gonna put a clamp on that so I don't lose the alignment. And because this is wet, I'm just having to be a little more careful. So with watercolor, I noticed last time that it made its own border. I don't see that happening this time, so what I might do is outline the circles with black. Alright, so I got a hole in there, and line that up. And I should have gotten my brad out. Don't you love it when everyone's prepared? Yes, but it doesn't always happen. Alright, so then I can just take that off and hopefully get this in here. Quite a bit of paper has to go through there. Okay, not so much for the alignment. What I'm going to do is put in one piece at a time. Now I didn't ink this because it's the actual swatch, or the actual sample paper, so, but you can if you want. I mean, why not? I just didn't think it needed it. Okay, so then spread out the prongs there. Now you could put something on there depending on how you're going to attach it to your journal. For me, I actually don't mind having the verse on there twice. So what I might do is just take that, and then what I would have to think ahead a little bit better next time. I think this one is actually big enough that it could fill up the page by itself, and I'm more liking that watercolor page idea now because I made this one a little bit larger. So you could actually just do some watercolor, like maybe do a bigger swatch, play with your colors, and then attach this to the actual page. I'm gonna leave that with you. For myself, what am I gonna do? Probably go back to this example and show you this one, because this one actually does fit on the page. So this one is about 1 inch shorter. What's this one? This one's almost, well, with that tab, it's about 6 inches tall. This one, I believe, is about 4.5 maybe. Definitely this size works better. But this way, I mean, I made a few of them, so I can pick and choose still. But because it has the verse on it, I am gonna try and figure out a way to mount that one. Because of the verse that I had in the big font, I don't have a lot there to cut off, so let's see. That's a problem solved. So it's going in the journal like so. Could actually take a paper clip and just attach it to the page that way. It's probably not the most original idea, but if I had a decorated one right with me, I would use that. So then attach it like so. That would work. But if it was just strictly for me, what I would probably do then is take the brad out and take the very back piece off, because you have the scripture reference there. Or you just have to move it in a little bit so it's not encumbered by the hole there. Well, let me try that. I'm just gonna paper clip it for now. Because if it's not functional, we're gonna have problems, right? Okay, so there. And then all right, let's grab this one. This is our first page in here, so we can still learn. It's not too late to learn. Okay, so there, and there. Now remember, if you don't have rings, ribbon or string would do to act as a binder. Don't want to close that all the way because it's still a little wet. But there, see, the tab would stick out. And on this side, it would work. It's actually not sticking out over here at all. It matches flush with that. So just when you make it, be mindful of how wide your paper is and do that. So what I'm going to actually end up doing now is opening up the brad and two, I could get rid of that verse back there. It's kind of hidden, but for now I'll leave it. So I'm going to attach this right about there. That's all the extra room I have. Okay. So it still swivels, just gotta lift it up over the rings. That actually might work in the long run, so you don't have it swiveling out when you don't want it to. And then the cover, like so. So yeah, that will work. And then as for this one, I will put in the original one I had made for this And again, that brad I'll probably cover up with a sticker or something. Okay, so there, that way you can see the two different results I had and plan accordingly. All right, so that is that. And I'll just say thank you for joining me today, and I hope you give this a try. All right, have a great day, guys. See you next time. Bye for now.